Welcome to the Mentor Movement podcast, where we discuss things like mentorship, inclusion, and women empowerment. I'm Kylie Montigney, and today we'll be talking about stepping into the embodiment of divine feminine and personal development with our special guest, Shelby St. Clair. Me and her connected a few months ago, maybe a year. I'm so bad at keeping track on my other podcast. I know our last guest was on my podcast, and our next guest that's coming out next week is gonna be from my other podcast as well. So a big kind of reunion on my end. But thank you so much, Shelby, for joining us today. It's so great to connect with you again.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back and just get to talk with you and share on this really impactful topic.
For sure. So to kickstart off this episode, like tell us kind of more about you and the amazing work that you're doing.
Of course. Well, first, thank you for calling it amazing. I think it is as well. But as you said, I am Shelby St. Clair. I'm a spiritual business mentor, and I really help women in business to break the chains of generational trauma so that they can claim the success that is their birthright. So, as I've been doing this work, I just saw how much of life impacted women's business, and it
Mhm.
kind of created this outer shell that they then hid behind. And a lot of resistance came up, a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of fears, self sabotage. And I was like, you know what? We can bust through this. And by way of that, we can create a really flowy way to build a business that then
Mhm.
feels good, resonates with our personal energy.
I love that. Like I know with a running a business, especially as a woman, it can be very difficult. Especially with running a business, it can be difficult, especially with being like growing a business as a startup is most likely impossible. A lot of people, some businesses won't last up to like 6 months to a year. But what have you really seen, with especially with women in business? Like what struggles and things have you seen kind of the most?
Yeah, I love that you just called out that like part of things not working out because it's so true, right? There is that like 1 to 3 year kind of mark for if somebody is going to succeed in business because it is a courageous act. It takes a
Mhm.
lot of willingness to do the uncomfortable things, and that is the biggest thing that I see with women is
Yeah.
the fear to step out of the comfort zone. And that comes from a life of being put into a box, right? Put into a box of like, this is who you need to be loved and seen and heard and accepted.
Mhm.
And when we have all of these beliefs playing out in our mind that like we aren't worthy of success or we aren't valued enough in our life from experiences that can go as far back as being in school and being bullied for thinking that we had the most like rockin' outfit that we wore to school and the popular girl snuffed us and made us feel like absolute garbage, right? We can
Mhm.
then project that onto our business and say, this is my purpose. I love this. This lights me up. It's what gets me out of bed and makes me feel good in the morning, but it is also a very scary and hard thing to fully step into that power and to own that purpose because what if somebody has something to say and they don't see my vision? And so you place yourself in a box and you hide away.
That is so well said. That I'm glad you brought that message up because that is something that message really comes into people's minds because when they're running a business and people give them maybe a bad review or say this thing is ugly, like why are you doing a business? And that's because maybe they have a different taste or they just kind of don't see things the way you do. Maybe this person that's selling it likes it. And maybe someone's like, oh, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. But, of course, people don't like the same things you do, and that's perfectly fine. But with my sister, she has a crystal business. And so she's been doing that for like 2 to 3 years now. And from seeing her run a business, I never realized how hard running a business can be. like the amount of things you have to do, invoices, I'm doing updating the websites and things. I'm like, I can barely handle all the things I'm doing, barely doing having time for myself rather than her dealing with two children under the age of 5 and also running a business. I'm just like, what is going on? And plus, with a business, it's literally so difficult. And I'm just like, it's literally no joke. Like like with the amount of things you have to do to grow the business, try to find things people like it's literally impossible to run a business 2 to 3 years. It's longer than most people run a business. Especially after the pandemic with inflation and online shopping these days. It's literally this things change a lot since COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is so much that comes into running a business that I don't think a lot of people recognize or realize. And there is this impact that happens on your life. And especially if you have a family or if you have kids, right? Your time is stretched. So you're having to find the gaps to run your business within and get all of those things done. And if you're just getting started, it's not like you have a team of people supporting you and doing all the things. You are literally the business builder. You are the customer service team, you are the email marketer, you're the graphic designer. Like you are all of these parts and all of these pieces of your business. And that is why working on self is so important because when we get this finite structure within us and we fall deeply in love with ourselves and we get to connect to our purpose and like allow our soul to flourish in the way that it's meant to, business goes from feeling like this overwhelming thing to then we can step into this place of presence where we're like, this is what I love to do. I'm here to serve. I'm here to give. I'm here to build this thing out. And it doesn't have to feel as though it's like this massive rock that's getting placed on top of our head every single day, pushing us further and further and further into a hole. It's like we get to breathe and we get to live life. And it all starts with that inner piece of really connecting to why we started this business in the first place.
Yeah, because it's really all about realizing what and why I started. Because of course, when people are so busy juggling other things, they forget that the reason why they're doing it is because they love it so much. And especially with running a business from a startup and from the ground up, you literally have to do email, social media, make clips, make a website. You literally have to do things and you're only one person. So of course, you have to make cash, then do hiring. And hiring after a couple months, depending on your business, is nearly impossible. Like you mostly have to do everything on your own. And I'm just like, gosh, it's too much work. Even with running an organization, a podcast, it's nearly difficult enough rather than running a business. Like with everything, you literally have to manage everything day by day in a matter of hours. You put in for no one to buy it. It's literally like, okay, what sometimes people are like, okay, why am I doing this? But it's a matter of
Mm.
if people are buying it, that's the most important thing. Not every business from day one is going to skyrocket the minute they start. It can sometimes take months to years and years. Like literally, it can take forever. But it's
Yeah.
always worth promoting and working your ass off to really get your business up and running, even if the amount of hours you do, even if it's not a 9 to 5 job, it can be someone's income to survive and support their kids and their families or even themselves. That's the worst part about that. Is like sometimes running a business is the only way to support ourselves rather than working a 9 to 5 and then doing that on the side. That's kind of the worst part if you're doing that because not a lot of people not have a lot of money, and sometimes with making a certain amount of money for a business, it sometimes will not be enough.
Yeah, that's where the building a solid foundation within your business is so important. Having structures and systems and like procedures, that's what makes your business be able to flourish, right? So as I do a lot of this work with the people that come to me is that they're coming to me and they're looking for the kind of work that I do and how I help guide people to create more impact and income within their business is because they're at this monumental moment in their life where they're like, I have to have some success within my business or I'm going to have to go and find something else. Right? It's
Mhm.
like there this is the end all be all. I either honor my purpose and do this thing that I love and that I desire to be doing within my life, or I go work for somebody else and I wake up every day unhappy just
Mhm.
so that I can make a paycheck to survive. And so it's bringing it back to the basics of why did you want a business in the first place? Okay, what are the inner workings? What are the inner parts that we have to heal? What are the beliefs that we have to let go of, right? The beliefs
Mhm.
that business is hard no matter what. We got to work that out because there is a moment where it gets to be fun and it gets to be easy and things get to flow, right? The idea that to be successful, I have to hustle and grind all the time. We've got to let that belief go and step into a place where, like, we have everything in order and everything created so that our business is flowing and so that money can come up. So that
Mhm.
at the end of the day, when we're building a business, what we are really doing is just showing up for our business because we have
Mhm.
everything created on the back end for it to run properly so
Mhm.
that when life happens, our business is still running and making money, even if we aren't sitting in front of our computer, right? Because that's the
Mhm.
biggest desire of starting a business that we have the freedom to live the life that we want, working when and where we want, right? We want to be able
Mhm.
to look at our calendar and say, you know what? I need to get away. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to book this trip for 2 weeks from now, and I'm going to go live my best life. And it not have to be a question of, like, what am I going to have to do to be able to go on vacation? Right?
Mhm.
That's the ultimate desire is like getting to a place in our business where we get to do all of those things. And it really comes to knowing what to do and how to do it. Because when we start in business, we don't know what we're doing. When I think back to 12 years ago when I launched my very first business, I had no idea what I was doing. I just hit the ground running with a desire to create something that I loved. And so I had
Mhm.
to learn all the pieces and it was exhausting and it was
Yeah.
tiring. But how, when I look back, I'm like, man, if I had known that there was a space that I could enter into and I could learn all of these parts and pieces, not on my own, but have somebody say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what you need to create. This is the next step. And like it just put out in front of me, it would have felt so much easier than trying to grind it out and work it all out on my own and have all of
Mhm.
those fears coming into place.
That is the worst feeling because when I started everything, I literally did it from everything on my own. I literally like didn't have anyone's help. I literally just started everything not knowing what I was honestly doing as well. But honestly, with running a business, you're your own boss. You're your own person that makes your schedule rather than working another job with someone else as your boss and they scheduling your hours for you. That is the worst part because like you're working maybe 40 hours a week, 9 to 5 each day, Monday through Friday, and you're exhausted and hate it while also running a business. And really, you hate that job and you would rather just basically just work on your business. But it sometimes can be impossible when you're working a 9 to 5 job because you can be so exhausted that you barely can function and work on it. But when focusing on your business, you could get all the hours you want, and you can have do everything in one day, then go on a 2 week vacation. And with me, I work two jobs while also juggling everything I do. It's too, like sometimes I'm like, what am I even doing with myself? Like this is nearly impossible. And I can't even tell you the last time where I went on a vacation without bringing my computer and actually doing something. I can't even tell you. But
Mm,
honestly, that's the part of running a variety of different things that you have to take care of so much. But when you are at that point where you everything's calmed down, you're where you want to be, you can do whatever you want.
yeah. Yeah. And that's the ultimate desire. You know, there's this mentality that I think a lot of new business owners kind of embody when they first step into business is that like I have to step into my masculine role and I have to like I said earlier, grind it out, be in the hustle, go, go,
Mm,
go. I'm working a full-time job, and when I get off work, I have another full-time job just to try and build my business so then I could get out of my 9 to 5 career. And there's this switch in, there's that switch in mentality that has to come from stepping out of that masculine go, 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 force it all to happen, work myself to my bones, to stepping into that feminine essence of like, how can I enjoy my life? Right?
yeah,
Because that's the ultimate thing that we all want. We want joy, we want happiness, we want freedom, we want peace, and we want to make some damn money while we have all of that.
yeah.
Ultimately, when we create a business. And so we have to look at ourselves and like really self reflect on how am I getting in my own way? What am I saying? What am I believing? What am I doing that's holding me back from really having everything that I want? Am I fully showing up powerfully in my business, or am I working my my bones to the or my fingers to the bone, whatever that statement is called, in my 9 to 5 job, that when I come home,
Mhm.
like I don't even have the mental capacity to give my business what it needs. And if that is the case, okay, what in my business am I focusing on right now that maybe can go on the back burner for now so I can create some income? A lot of times we think we have to have the perfect website, the perfect social media strategy, all of our marketing pieces in place, all of our nurture systems within our emails. Like we're building out all of these parts within our business that ultimately aren't going to make us money today. So
Mhm.
if you are at that moment where you're like, I want my business to be successful, like I said earlier, obviously the foundation is so important. The inner work is so important, but also self reflecting on what am I doing today that is not serving that higher need of income. Am I wasting my time when I get off of work trying to build the perfect website? Or am I spending a couple hours just putting my offers out there, sharing what I do, sharing how people can purchase from me, right? We got to switch that kind of look and that vision towards, again, out of the masculine of building all of these things before we make an income, and creating that foundation for success where we're doing the things first that are going to generate money for us. Because what happens when we're making money with our business? We then get to dedicate some of that money, some of that income, and outsource certain things when we get to a certain point, and somebody else gets to do the website, and somebody else gets to build out our social media strategy. Like there is so much beauty that can be done and created in business. We just have to think about it in a whole new way. And that is my entire purpose of this work that I do. Literally breaking the paradigms of what business is seen as today, and like allowing you to run a business that works for you.
Love it. So, do you like think like mentorship kind of plays a role in stepping into our vine and personal development?
Absolutely. So when I launched my first business back in 2012, I had no idea that mentorship, coaching, any of that was a thing. It wasn't, so like Instagram was barely getting started. There wasn't this strategic everything getting sent to you as far as ads for what you're needing and looking for. And so I built my first business from Google and YouTube University, learning everything from there. But things could have gone a lot faster. I could have learned a lot quicker. I could have ixnayed a lot of things that I was doing that weren't creating that next level income for myself if I had somebody that was like a mirror reflecting back to me what I could do, what I could change, how I could be better.
Mm,
And so I am at this point in my life now where I will never, ever go a moment without having some sort of mentorship in my life. And I think that is
mm,
something that is so powerful. Like before we got on this call, I was thinking about mentorship, and I was like, you know what? How many people am I working with right now? I have a spiritual coach that I work with. I have a just like business strategist coach that I work with. I have a money mindset coach that I work with. I have a wealth creation coach that I work with. And then I have a extremely high level coach that is one to one inside my business, looking at every single thing that I do that I'm working with. And so I'm at a point in my life where I get to have all this support and all of these people guiding me. But when I first started my coaching business back in 2017, I joined a program that helped me build things out. And it was like the ultimate gold. And it was the aha moment of when I was like, okay, this is the first course I've ever joined, the first time working with somebody having this type of mentorship. And I will never not have something. And that's been
Mhm.
true up through now because it is so powerful, so helpful, so impactful when we have somebody in our corner because we can't see everything that we're doing. Like we're just going through the motions. We are in fight or flight when we're starting our business, trying
Mhm.
to just figure out what to do. And so when we have guidance, it makes things a lot easier.
It really is. And especially with you starting out when Instagram was kind of starting out, when social media was kind of developing, makes it a lot harder, especially with us having technology now. It's much harder growing a business with no social media than then. As I'm so grateful that we have this technology that we have now because it's much easier to promote our business, whether it's on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you like to promote your business with. Like it's much easier than it was maybe like 20 years ago with no social media because you
Yeah.
get connected with other people. You literally learn more from meeting people on social media than with no social media. Even though, social media can be very toxic, you know kind of how that works with everything, but it really can be a bunch of pros and cons, even though with running a business. And with running a coaching business, that is a great way to really grow like everything you're doing is through social media, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is such a huge tool for businesses if you're looking to connect with people. That's a hint. But with having technology, it really is such a big step to really growing your business than it was. Because with no social media, it's really so much harder to grow a business than it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, think about if you, like you said, right, 20 years ago, things were so different when it came to running a business. Think about the fear that you feel right now when it comes to just showing up on social media, right? Creating a
Mhm.
video, putting your offer out there, asking somebody to purchase from you. 20 years ago, people were going like door to door
Yeah.
saying what they did for business, right? People were having to get in front of people face to face and like sharing what they do.
That honestly would
It,
be my biggest fear, not gonna lie, to do that to people.
right? So, like, we at least have this little tool in
Yeah.
front of us that allows us to just be in the presence of ourselves and our energy and like be in that fulfillment of self-expression and power when it comes to sharing our business rather than right directly in front of somebody and kind of sensing and feeling the like, are they into what I'm sharing? Are they not into what? Are they getting annoyed? Like at the end of the
Mm,
day, we can go ahead, we can record a video, we can share our offer, we can put it out this beautiful tool called blocking. We can delete comments. Like we get to
mm,
protect ourselves, our energy, and our business. And so we just have to switch that thought around social media and showing up
mm,
for ourselves and our business. Like
mm,
it's a tool that is here to help us, and we get to leverage it in our own way by allowing it to protect us from all of that negativity because none of that's serving us. And ultimately, at the end of the day, all that matters is that we love what we do. And if we
mm,
love what we do and we can put that out there every single day and invite people into our world so that they get to love what we do, then who cares about all the people that are hating and judging because people are going to have something to say no matter what.
And that's a part of life, everyone's gonna hate you for no matter what you do. And that's really a part of social media is that you can really delete anything that just someone do. Honestly, when I get like a hate comment or something, I see it, read it for a couple of seconds, which is probably not the best thing to do, but I'm like, I'm just curious. Then I'll delete it because I'm like, why am I keeping this? Even though that's not the best thing to read. But with social, like with going and knocking on doors, you can really sense what they're thinking and like, okay, am I wasting my time talking about this person or is it actually going somewhere? Which I can never do. So I'm like, if they say no, I'm like, are you sure, lady? Like, I'm just gonna persuade them. But with social media, you really only see the comments and everything they're sharing rather than sense their emotion, which is literally much better than actually going door to door.
Yeah, yeah. My third business was direct sales, and it was very much going door knocking and doing surveys. And so I've done it all. I've done all the different things that you could imagine and think of. And so that's why it's just like I know the fears that we experience as business owners because I've experienced them too. And I know that there's a way out and a way through when we start to work on ourselves and we build our business in a way that revolves around our personal energetic strategy. Like anything is possible. We just have to believe, and we have to believe the right thoughts, not the things that are going to take away from us or deter us from having a very successful business.
I love it. So to wrap this episode up, a question I usually ask everyone is, what does mentorship mean to you?
Yeah, mentorship to me means literally everything. It means that you get to have somebody in your corner supporting you, seeing your vision, and guiding you to a point where you can create the success that you desire, right? Having a mentor means that you get to cut your time in half as far as how long it takes. And it could even be more than half as far as how long it takes to get to where you desire to be in your business. Just think of mentorship as a literal mirror
Mm,
rather than seeing like yourself and judging yourself. You just get to see all the parts where there's things inside of your life and business that you can change to improve. And that's what makes mentorship beautiful and so helpful and powerful for where you want to go.
mentorship is really key to where you want to go. That's what the power of mentorship is for is, you wouldn't be really you were in a career without a mentor because mentors really help you get into where you are, whether it's, being a journalist, going to business, social media marketing. It can be anything. And having a mentor can help you grow as a person, as a job that you want to go into. It really is so powerful. And it's really a huge reason why I started this platform because it really is something that people should talk about more. And not a lot of people have access to having a mentor or don't know where they want to be. So, mentorship is this really great to help people find themselves and really realize their true potential as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thank you so much for coming on today. It was literally great chatting with you again. I know it's literally been a hot minute since we last connected on my other podcast. It was really great talking with you. I love to do a part two at some point. But yeah, thank you again for joining us. It was so great connecting with you.
Yeah, you too. Definitely. Thank you for having me. And if anybody that's listening has questions, like slide into my DMs on Instagram. You
Mm,
can find me at the Shelby St. Clair. And I'm here to just hold space, support you, answer questions. Like you don't have to go through this business thing alone. And I think
mm,
that that is the most important part and piece because entrepreneurship feels alone. I'm here to let you know. I'm here
nah.
rooting for you in your corner because you can create success.
You really could. I will make sure to put all of her social links in the description for you guys to check out. Make sure to subscribe, like, review, and share. It will mean a world. I will talk to you guys next Thursday for our next episode with Hannah Adams. But thank you so much, Shelby, again for joining us, and I'll definitely talk to you soon.
Bye.